Goodness comes and evil goes. Kimungo. Kimungo Ukombozi, Kimungo Ukombozi, Kimungo Ukombozi, divine liberty, divine liberation, divine freedom, and all that that will bring for African people wherever we happen to be on the face of this earth. Karibu, welcome. My name is Kwende, and today we're going to get into another important subject, and that subject is make time for the self. In a world where there are so many vices to derail the African from him or herself, it is vitally important that African souls take the time to nurture the self, to cultivate the self, to develop the self, and to safeguard the self. So the self being at whichever level. So at the person self, whether that is as a masculine African man or a feminine African woman, time for the person self is important so that the African masculine man can be, so that the African feminine woman can be. And then, of course, there is time to be determined for the self of the African harmonious and complementary male-female union. That requires time, and that self requires time. The family, by extension, requires time, and the community requires time. The nation requires time, and the world community requires time. We must surely be able to carve out some semblance of time, regardless of whatever else we may be compelled to do. There must be time for the various levels of the self in order for them to be, in order for them to exist, in order for them to flourish, in order for them to grow, in order for them to develop, in order for them to be safeguarded. And whilst it's the mission of others to hijack as much of that time as is possible, there must be self-determined effort on the part of Africans to have some time, however best that is possible to do, given time, space, and circumstance, and whatever particular dynamics are at play, in order for those levels of the self to become fully flourishing, to become energized. If we are able to allocate even a portion of precious time to that precious self, and certainly the phrase, the living shrine of the self, reflects that preciousness that is part of African substance of being. So with that food for thought, and surely it is food for thought, Kimungo Ukombozi, Kimungo Ukombozi, Kimungo Ukombozi, divine liberty, divine liberation, divine freedom, and all that that will bring for African people, wherever we happen to be on the face of this earth. Shrine of self is gift from above.